Hello, today we're going to change the headlights on your scooter, and in this video I will show you how. Well, hello and welcome to my video. Today we are going to change the headlights on the scooter. The headlights on the scooter, they're really important for you because this one, they're really going to make your street brighter at night time, and you can see a lot better if the headlights are nice and clean. Now, unfortunately, after a long time, if you look at my scooter, about 5,000 miles, the headlights, they start to fade out. They start to have a yellowish color, so you cannot see really good the street, and maybe cars cannot see you. So that's a real big problem, so you want to make sure the cars see you. So changing the lights on the scooter, the headlights, is really important. Now, this one you can find it on Amazon for around $60 to $70, but you really have to make sure you get the right headlights for your scooter. You have to make sure you have the right connections, because some connections, they only have two down here and two up here, and some other connection, they have 6. If you look at this one, it has 6 connections. Now you have to make sure that the same size and the same look of your scooter that's what you're going to buy. You really need to have the same shape of headlights for your scooter. You don't want to buy a square, you don't want to buy a different shape for your scooter. This one is the perfect one for your scooter, okay? So this one is for a GY6 150cc. There is a possibility if you buy a headlights for a 50cc, is a smaller size. So that you always have to make sure before you buy this product online. So do a little work, make sure you look at your headlights, and make sure that you look at the one you're buying, so you're buying the right product for your scooter. To install this one is really easy, okay? I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. Okay, let's start. To remove the headlights, the first thing you have to do, you have to remove the front part of your scooter. That will be the nose of your scooter, okay? So on this side right here, on the driver's side of the scooter, you have to remove 4 screws. They're Phillips screwdriver. They're one on the right side, one on the left, one on the middle right side, and one on the left middle right here. Now, in the front part of the scooter, on the lower side, you have 2 screws underneath the nose of your scooter, okay? So we're going to remove this one, and then we can remove the front part of your scooter. Right here on the right side, Phillips screwdriver, and you can remove the screws, okay? Now keep in mind that the screw that are over here on the lower right side is slightly smaller. So if you reverse this screw to this screw right here, you're going to break the plastic. So make sure that these ones that are on the right side, lower right side, you put them on the side, okay? You don't want to mix them, because if you mix them, you're going to break the plastic later, okay? Now on the left side, same story. Remove first the top one, and the left side right here on the bottom. At this point, we can go in front of a scooter on the lower side, and we're going to remove 2 screws that are underneath your nose of the scooter. Okay, right here on the lower side of the scooter, right in front of the nose, you have 2 screws down here that are holding down the nose of your scooter. Now, every time you do something with your scooter, make sure you put your scooter on a center stand, okay? Don't work on your scooter on the side stand of the scooter, because the scooter might move and you might have a problem, okay? Because if the scooter goes down, there's a lot of plastic that can break. Now, make sure you remove the tire to the left or the right when you're working on these screws, okay? So, let's remove right here. Now you remove one, and then you move the other one on the other side. try to be gentle, because all this stuff is made of plastic. If you break the plastic, you can have a problem. Place these screws in a location where you're going to remember where you place them, because many times when you remove the screws and you cannot find the screws, later you're going to find that screw in your tire, and that is not pleasant, okay? So after you remove these two screws, you can remove the front part of the scooter. Okay, right after you remove all the screws, put one of your hands on the left side, one of your hands on the right side of the nose of your scooter, and kind of shake it a little bit like that, left and right, and it will come out. Do not force it. If you feel it that it's forcing, do not force it. See if there is a problem why it's not coming out, because everything is made of plastic in these scooters, and if you force it too much, you will break something, and if you break something to fix this plastic is a problem. Now shake it a little bit and see if it's coming out. Right here we have a connection right here. This connection right here, you just press and pull, okay? So they pull the two connections. Do not pull from the wires, okay? Because you might damage the wire or you might damage the connection. Grab the two plastic part right here, connector, and pull it away just by pressing this little flap right here. That is one of the connection right here, okay? So just press down and pull, but never put from the wires, okay? Now if you look at this light, it's kind of a little bit of disaster, you know, because there is something loose over here, the wires are broken, so it's time to change these lights when you can, okay? Now I want you to really be careful to these flaps over here and to these flaps over here on the top, okay? Because if you break them, you have a problem, okay? Now after you remove the nose of your scooter, you can remove all the screws that are around right here, the headlight assembly, okay? This is something really good to do and something easy to do, but you really have to be careful because you're dealing with plastic. So be gentle and take your time. Do not do this work in a rush. If you do this work in a rush, you're gonna have a problem, okay? At this point, we're going to take this one, we're gonna flip it over, and we're going to look at all the screws that are around here. And you have a lot of screws over here, okay? Now, you can get a driller to get them out, okay? But make sure you do it nicely because everything is made of plastic. So be gentle when you're getting out the screws, okay? This one is something really easy to do, you know, it doesn't take you too long to do it. Okay, right here you have about 6 screws in these headlights, and they're all the same. Right after you remove all the screws, you are able to remove the headlights. So just slightly shake it and wibble it and get it out. This one was the old headlights right here. If you look, it's very faded, okay? You cannot see much at night time. At this point, you can place the new headlights. Try to keep this plastic on it so you're not going to damage right here. You're not going to damage the plastic for the headlights, okay? You want to be protected. At this point, you're going to place this one right above the old one. Right here on the plastic. Now you really want to make sure that the same connection that you have in the old one, you have in the new one. And if you do not have the same one, you can switch them, okay? Now look like I have the same connection. So I don't really need to switch the connection right here, okay? But if they're different, yes, you can change them. After you've done this, you can place the screws on the headlights to make sure they go in the right place. Be gentle when you screw in these screws in, because you're dealing with plastic. Because if you screw them in too much, you might break the plastic connection. Now, if you like it, you can do it by hand, okay? If you don't, it's okay. But just make sure you don't push too much. When you hear a little force, just don't push your driller. Sometimes the lights might not fit perfectly, so you just have to push left and right with your finger to make sure they're going to fit perfectly. They're not going to force on the plastic. This one is a really easy job to do, but make sure you do it right. Even an easy job can be a big trouble if you do it the wrong way, and you're going to make more trouble for your scooter, or you make more damage. Now, when you place all the screws, try to hold the plastic and shake the headlights lightly. You know, just feel how is the force, if it's moving or if it's not, if it needs to be a little more tighter or not. Do not tighten it too much, just a little bit that is going to stay there. At this point, make sure all the connections, they look good, and make sure you put this dust cover back in place. You know, if sometimes they don't want to stay, you can put a little splash of the crazy glue or some glue around here if you wish, but you don't really have to do it if they stay on, okay? If not, you just place them on, make sure the connection look good, they're nice and clean, they're not broken, because they're very thin and sometimes they can break, okay? You want to make sure they're straight, especially when you go inside the other connector. You want to make sure that this one, they don't bend, because if they bend, that's a big problem. Okay, right after you place all the screws, just flip this one around, and let's see. Now looks really nice. Nice, clear, you can see better, other cars can see you. That's something really important. Right after you've done this, we're going to place this one back in the scooter. Okay, at this point we can place the nose back on the scooter, right here, okay? Look like brand new now. Make sure you keep one hand on the right side of the plastic, one hand on the left side of the plastic, and be gentle. Now, the first thing, you place it right there, you know, on the bottom nose right there. You're going to put this one, the connection inside, okay? By squeezing a little bit. You want to make sure that this one goes perfectly inside, okay? Squeeze it. You want to squeeze it with your hand. After you squeeze with your hand, in the back side of the connection, make a little pressure on the connection to make sure the little flaps goes inside, okay? So you really want to make sure that this connection is nice and tight, okay? Right after you've done that, you can place the nose in the same position. Now, make sure you place the bottom part first, the nose right here first, and then you go place the sides, okay? You want to make sure that it's nice and flat to the body of the scooter. If it's not nice and flat, and if it's making force, maybe something is out of line. If something is out of line, it's going to force, and sooner or later some plastic is going to break, okay? Plus, if it's out of line, you know, if it's not aligned perfectly, maybe the holes of the screw, they're not going to align perfectly, and you cannot put the screws the right way. So, make sure you take your time with the scooters, okay? Do not rush yourself. If a day that you don't have enough time to do this job, don't do it. Do it when you have time, okay? So, at this point, don't put the screw in yet. At this point, turn on your scooter, check if the lights are working, and then later, you can place all the screws back. Because if you put all the screws and then nothing is working, there is something you have to tweak. Maybe you didn't squeeze the connection of the light pretty good. So that could be a problem. So at this point, just test your scooter, put all the screws back, and you're good. Okay, we just finished to change the headlights on your scooter. At this point, please make sure before you go for a ride, to test your lights and then you go for a ride. I'd like to thank you very much for watching my video. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel anytime, and if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you.